Hola amigos, this is Viri with Vallarta Life, and in this video we're going to talk about a lot of things I need to catch up with you guys. So let's get started. It is March 7th and I'm really behind on a bunch of stuff, especially my monthly video. If you're new here, I make a monthly video at the beginning of the month where I just talk briefly about COVID update, any events that you need to know about in the month of, the weather, just basic stuff. For travel here to Puerto Vallarta. I was thinking if I should make just a video on that, but I decided there's just way too many things that I need to talk about. So this video is going to be a little bit long. I'm going to start first talking about March, if that's what you're interested in. I'm going to talk about some updates on my life, some projects that we're working on, and future video ideas that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. First things first, March weather. I'm actually not in Puerto Vallarta right now, and I will get to that why I'm not in Puerto Vallarta at the moment. So I'm just looking at the Google weather. I've been there, for 4 years. I live there year round, so I can verify if this is correct or not, but usually it's very close to what it's saying here. So right now it's saying that it's 78 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's very nice weather. Yeah, so it looks like all this week it's gonna be high about 79, 80 degrees. It looks like next week it's gonna start to roll into the mid 80s, like 85, which is true. I would say March is already like a warmer month. No rain doesn't start till about May, June. I would probably say June, and that's just a few scattered showers. So no rain in the forecast. It's actually pretty dry these months. That's my quick weather update. Now let's talk about COVID update. Actually just logged into I'm looking at it on my phone. I'll leave you guys the website, the government of Mexico website, where it tracks the whole country and then the states. I always do this every single month where I show you guys in Mexico. It's categorized by a different color of like a stoplight. So it's like red, orange, yellow, and green. Green is the best that you can get. If the state is green, that means there's very little risk, very little cases of COVID. You should feel safe traveling. When it's red, it's like a lot of high cases. You should probably not travel there, or restrictions start to roll around. So looking at this, actually the whole state of Mexico is green, except for that little yellow part, which is where Mexico City is. Wow, I'm impressed. I've been having such a busy month and whole life deal. I will talk about that later, but I hadn't realized it. Wow, the whole country is like green. So that's really good for you guys. The thing about Mexico, ever since the pandemic started, they've still, enforced the whole mask situation, and it's still pretty much the same. I haven't heard any news or updates here in the United States. A lot of places already don't require you guys to wear masks. I'm still a little weirded out when I come here to Houston and go to places and nobody wears masks, not even the waiters at restaurants and stuff, and it's still kind of a process for me to get used to, because in Mexico everybody wears masks, and they do require you to wear a mask if you're going to restaurants, pretty much anywhere indoors, like restaurants, if you're going to the grocery store, if you're going to Costco, even if you're going into the marina, any of the tours through the marina or the cruise terminal, they require you to wear a mask. If you're outside, if you're just walking around, you're in the beach, if you're just going about your business outside, nobody enforces that. To be quite honest, at some places I've walked around and I've seen other people walk around without a mask, and they don't really are super on top of you. But that just varies, okay? That just varies from place to place. I know for sure the other day my husband tried to go to Costco, and then he didn't have a mask because he forgot his mask, and they would not let him in for nothing. He was like, I just need to go get something. I'll just go buy the pack of masks, and they were like, no. So they wouldn't let him in. Whenever things start to change, I'll update you guys on that. Oh, last month I did tell you guys that in Jalisco they were requiring proof of vaccination, like your vaccine card. Or if not, you were going to need a PCR test to go into bars and clubs. To be honest, I don't go to clubs, I don't go to bars, so I don't know how good they were enforcing this. I know some people commented on my TikTok. They said yes, they were checking it and they wouldn't let us in if we didn't have it. And then some people said, oh, I just went by, nobody asked anything. I'm pretty sure, I have not seen any updates from the governor. That's where usually I get my information. Since the state is green, that they probably have eliminated that. If you guys have been to Vallarta lately, let me know in the comments and tell me if they were checking vaccine cards if you went to the club or to the bar. Events, I haven't really seen any events for March. Spring break is in March. I would still consider high season March because of spring break, so there's still quite a bit of people around here. In Vallarta, the whales season is pretty much over. You might be able to still see a few whales like till mid-March, but after that, if you're coming towards the end, I'm so sorry for you guys. The whale season starts around December till mid-March. Okay, so we will have to wait till December. That's pretty much it on my update for March. Let's talk about life update. Okay, before the year ended, in December, like a few days before the year ended, my husband came over to Houston. We used to live here in Houston before we moved to Vallarta. And if you haven't heard that whole story of why we moved to Mexico, I'm gonna leave it down up here so you can catch up on that story. He came over to Houston. His family all lives here. My mother-in-law was just having like a brief, like a day surgery, and everything went well. She came home and everything. He was just here to like support. Actually, they had just found out that my father-in-law had cancer, and kind of like the whole family wanted to get together and give him the news and all that. So that was the reason why he came. I didn't come because it was going to be just a quick thing. He was just going to be gone, I think, like 3 or 4 days. Long story short is that it got like super complicated. Like she started having a lot of pain and like different things, and everybody thought it was the surgery had not gone well. Like her stomach was getting like bloated real bad, and with a lot of pain. Anyway, she went to the emergency room. They kept doing tests. Nobody could figure out what was happening. So the crazy part is that all this time they're doing a bunch of different testing and stuff, and it had already been like 2 weeks. So I'm over here in Vallarta. Well, I was over there in Vallarta for like 2 weeks, and he wouldn't come. It seemed like everything was getting better, then it would get worse, you know. So anyways, my husband flew to Vallarta to take care of some business, and we were literally there for like maybe 3 days, and then we flew back. And then the day that we arrived to Houston, they were like, we have bad news, everybody needs to come to the hospital. And I thought, oh my God, she's not gonna make it. The bad news was that she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and they still didn't know where the cancer originated from or what kind of cancer, because it's all over her stomach and everywhere, and it's just like a crazy mess. Ever since that happened, it's been like really crazy over here in our whole life and family. I have a lot of recorded content, but I have not been able to like sit down and edit thoroughly the videos and then post them. So that is what's happening. It's like really crazy, because one of the big reasons why we moved out of Houston was because of the pollution of the chemical plants. My husband's family lives in Pasadena, which is like right next to the chemical plants, and then they both got cancer at the same time. My father-in-law's cancer is actually not that bad. It's pretty well controlled. He only has to take like a chemo pill, and he's pretty good. He's been great, doing great. But my mother-in-law is not that well. She's getting chemo and everything, but she's still taking it. We're still taking it day by day with her. And it's real crazy, because when I shared that story of why we moved to Mexico, that was a big reason why we left here, Houston, because of the pollution, because of the chemical plants. And that was like another story that like my husband's like, you should share that, like do like a documentary of like the craziness of like how everybody gets cancer here. Like when we used to live here in Pasadena area, we actually lived in Pasadena right next to the chemical plants for I think 3 years. So many people that live here in this area that I've known have had cancer. And actually my friend, one of my really good friends, she's only 28 years old, guys, 28 years old. And she got diagnosed with cancer in July of last year, and hers is stage 3, but they told her since the beginning, you're not gonna die from cancer. And she actually just finished her chemo. She was having chemo for like 9 months, like every other weekend, so like almost like every 2 weeks or so. Wow. So that's a little bit of a life update. This was too depressing for you guys, but that is what we're having to deal with right now. Okay. Okay, I gotta share with you guys this because, okay, after this whole craziness of what's happening that I just shared, my husband decides to get a new house, which actually, it's really funny because if you've seen my why we moved to Mexico, like the projects, the houses and everything that we get, we're not even looking for them. They like literally fall on our feet. Like the people that we know, like that got the owner that owns the big villa that we have right now that we're renting, and we have it on Airbnb. He has like a lot of properties, and he has this other house in the same neighborhood. They own pretty much the whole little neighborhood, fraccionamiento in Mexico. It's like I forgot the word, but you know, the little neighborhood. There's only 5 houses, and one of them is our villa that we rent on Airbnb. Another one is where we live, and then another one is owned by a Canadian. And then my neighbor is a doctor, and then the other house is the owners, right, of the whole neighborhood and the villa. And that one had been empty for quite a while. They would come and go. Sometimes it's kind of like their vacation home. And we had already been looking at getting that property to also list on Airbnb. Ends up being that now they were like, yes, we're ready to like rent it out to you guys long term. So that would be another video. My husband explains how he does that, but he decides that he was gonna get this whole crazy project, which it wasn't like the first villa that was like completely abandoned and needed like so much repair, but it does need quite a bit of repair. He decided to get it. Right now it's being fixed while we're over here in the States. That's like crazy. My husband's really crazy, and sometimes I cannot keep up with his crazy ideas and his energy and everything. Well, anyways, so we have that project going on. Actually, I just filmed last week. We were in Puerto Vallarta for a few days, so I filmed the project, how they're fixing it up. He explains a little bit of what he expects to list it for, like per night on Airbnb, and explains a little bit of his like remodeling and, you know, process. So I'm gonna upload that video soon. Other than that, I think that's about it. Oh guys, I forgot. It's because I'm looking at a list of things that I wrote on my phone, and I don't know, I did not write this thing. Okay, so I believe like 2 weeks ago, when my husband came to like get the whole house and everything, he just came like for a few days, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay longer because I need to record content, and then we're gonna be gone. My aunt lives in Las Vegas, and my cousin, they had been telling me, hey, we'll go stay with you whenever Mike's not there. So I was like, hey, this is the time you guys want to come over. So I flew them down to Vallarta. So they were supposed to be here a whole week and everything. Long story short is that she started cleaning outside my patio, and in my patio there's tile that's slippery when it gets wet. And I saw her clean it, and she was gonna mop it and everything. I just told her, don't do it, because I have someone that comes and does that. And plus it gets very slippery. You're gonna slip and fall. She stepped where she had mopped and she fell. I thought she had just twisted her ankle, and then she's like, no, my bone is out. Like the ankle bone like came out of place. She was like, push it back in. I was like, not grossed out, but it's very uncomfortable for me, anything that's related to like blood and like bone sticking out, and so I was by myself, you know. It's just me, and my cousin is 18 and she's real skinny. And so the first thing that came into my mind is like, okay, I need someone to help me pick her up. So we have staff is working at the villa all the time when there's groups, and so I called my husband. I was like, hey, my aunt fell, can you send some of the guys to come help me pick her up? I think the group that was staying there had some excursion that day, so they only ate breakfast, and so all the staff left early. And I was like, oh great, nobody's here, you know. He's like, don't worry about it, I'm gonna call them to come back. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense because I live kind of far from Vallarta. So I was already thinking, who else is gonna help me out? Anyways, long story short, I had to like figure it out, bring my computer chair so that she can kind of like sit on it. It was like the doors that go into my dining room, so she just had to do like a 2-3 hops and then sit on the chair. had to wait for the guys to come to my house. My house is like nothing but stairs to go outside. So she was sitting down, but then she would have to go through some stairs to go into my car. Okay, my house is not handicap friendly. I already found that out. And then like the other door through the front is like uneven because my house is like on a hill. So it's like, anyways, it was quite an experience, to tell you guys the least. This is a whole nother complete story that I need to share with you guys, because I was by myself. I had a crazy story. My aunt fell, had to take her to the hospital, and the hospital was horrible. They just like wanted my aunt's money, and they were scaring her, and all that happened while I was by myself without my husband. To witness that situation, I was like, I have to make a video of this. So that is a video, an upcoming video that I will share with you guys. I just wanted to share briefly on that. I probably talked way too much on what happened, but it's been crazy. I don't even know how I'm still sane. I don't know. It's been crazy. But okay, future videos that I'm gonna do, guys. House tour. My house tour is a pending video for you guys. I'm going to show you guys how much we pay and show you guys the house tour. The Airbnb project, the new one that I just talked about, I'm going to roll that one out probably this week sometime. Via Mosafiato, which is the villa that's already up and running on Airbnb. I did a quick tour on it, and I'm going to show you guys that one too. I'm going to talk about the experience at the hospital with my aunt, what happened, and hopefully this helps you guys. So if you ever have an emergency or anything, this does not happen to you guys. And I'm planning to do a Q&A. So I've been getting a lot of questions throughout all my platforms, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And I think I'm gonna do a Q&A where me and my husband sit down. So if you guys have any questions on anything related to traveling, life, anything, just leave them down on the comments. And then I'm gonna work on making a video where we answer all those questions, okay, upcoming. That's pretty much it of what I have planned for my future videos. I hope this video was helpful and informative. I'm very sorry that this video was probably very long. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I just wanted to update you guys on what's happening. Also keep you updated on my life. Sometimes I just talk about travel and tips and everything, but I also want to connect with you guys. Thank you so much for your comments. And that's about it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, for staying till the end, and we'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye, guys.